If police officers commit mistakes, let us see a situation where action is taken against them and taken against them firmly and appropriately. But equally, let us not lie to Mwananchi that policemen cannot use. Because if we don't create fear, my brother, if today 1,000 people, not even 1,000, even 100 people invade a police station, and they are aware that there's nothing policemen will do, then what are we doing here? You'll be overrun.
Okay, I hear you, Charles. And
yeah.
I want us to...
There is something that I've been asking myself, that Citizen TV, don't we have other people that you can be calling maybe for the daybreak? Because calling these people sometimes irritates Kenyans. We have to understand that there are people whenever they're called on the panel to maybe have a discussion, there is a way that these things irritates irritates Kenyans. I'm talking about this because today in the morning, you know, it has been Charles Owino this, Charles or that. Last week, the other week, it was Charles Owino. Last week, I think almost the whole of last week, during the demonstration, it was Charles Owino. I don't know when again. Almost like every week, Charles Owino must appear on Citizen TV during the day, every day, like every day on the daybreak. And Maki, whatever he's saying, you know, is just a guy who wants to talk to please the regime, the current regime, or to please maybe the president and the people that are ruling. These are the kind of Luos that sometimes are shaming other Luos, because whatever they say, sometimes you listen to what they say, you ask yourself, God, this is what is going on. I'm talking about this thing because today in the morning, Citizen TV had got was it three guests, which was being the panelists, the three panelists, and the control of the panel was Sam Gituku. Sam Gituku had got Senator Nyuta. It had got the former president of the LSK, that is the Law Society of Kenya, that is Harvey, and also Charles Owino, and there's another guy. This guy, I don't know exactly his name. So I want us to listen to this conversation because, you know, Charles Owino is trying to tell us that police did not kill anybody for no reason. That is what he's trying to say. That when the police officers ordered or were ordered, and when the police officer decided to kill or shoot to kill, they didn't just kill anybody. They killed really people who are like going against what's supposed to be done. And what is so funny, and now what is so painful, is that you listen to Charles Owino saying that remember Boniface. Boniface, is it Boniface Mwangi, the guy, the masked guy who was shot, who has been declared brain dead? Automatically, that is part of the, that is somebody who is dead. Charles Owino is opening his wide mouth and saying that that man, there's a video that was recorded, and this man was like abusing the police officers, and that is why the police officers shot him. Like, how do these guys reason? How do these people? I would like to listen to these conversations, because, you know, some of these people, whenever they speak, I just want to listen to Charles Owino speaking and weigh by yourself that this guy, why is he so much obsessed with supporting this government? What is it? What is it that these guys are saying about this government that, you know, listen to Charles Owino.
With many sentiments that is putting forward in police having their firearms to protect the people. Mm-hmm. But there's one thing we are not discussing, Harvey. Our discipline as a society. That if we are confronted with situations where we have to agitate, let's do it peaceably. It's never peaceful.
Everybody, but what violence was there when Maraga was being shot at?
I want to explain.
Not with a tear gas, with a live bullet. Maraga was shot at with a live bullet.
Excuse me.
Charles.
I happened to have been at Nation Center at 10 when I left this place. And I met Chief Justice Emeritus Maraga and the 5 families. They were on a TV interview. They went down and they prayed. We could see it live. After prayer, they started moving on their procession. just as they started moving, they had not even gone 100 meters. Some boys started burning, setting up fire on the road along Kenyatta Avenue. And according to me, let me be the devil's advocate.
The devil
let me say that there must have been some people coordinating somewhere so that that procession would not be peaceful.
Most likely policemen coordinating that.
If the policemen fired, if the policemen were burning fire, I would say that, because what would cause protesters to burn fires along Kenyatta Avenue? But anyway, at the end of the day, this is our country, and we have to make a choice. If we are to have peaceful, we have had peaceful demonstrations. When Willie Kimani died, the incident you are talking about, every day, I was either meeting students from university, I was either meeting, like that day I had to walk with the demonstrators, the lawyers, from the Vigilance House to Jogo House, where the Inspector General was, because I knew he was at State House, he was not in office. And in the process, you saw what Boniface did to me. But still, we had to maintain our cool. And even now, you've just spoken about justice taking long in courts.
So why is it that a couple of police officers are not able to maintain their cool, including the person who shot?
It depends with... You see that boy who shot the young man? Even that one is very young. I think if I look at his number, he has not even worked for 2 years.
4 years there.
Yes, he has not even worked for 2 years. And it is just because of numbers, you know. There are certain ages that you may not want to give a firearm. Though I'm sure he was not given a firearm, he was given a rubber bullet. But still he misused it.
Which is still...
Because you see, in kind of riot preparations, not everybody is given a firearm. You always find that you have, every platoon, you organize 32. Only 4 have firearms. And even those 4 with firearms, always they have a sergeant who is older, who moves with them, who is supposed to give them directions or help them when they want to make mistakes. But because our rioting is such that everybody moves helter-skelter, you find even the organization becomes a problem. So such a young boy, 24 years old, you abuse him, kama mamako. You know what may happen. So
that's not provocation.
So, no. I've not said it is provocation. I'm a trainer, Javi, and I'm old enough, older than even you. So what I'm saying is that these things happen. And I say, when a mistake occurs...
Is it then a reflection moment? Because if that weapon was in the wrong hands, what do you do?
No, he was not given the live firearms. He was given rubber bullet. It's only that he hit that boy at a very close range. You know, you can't transfer your anger, your personal anger, into causing everyone a problem. But we must have a platform as a country, my brother, where we have to agree that even our own discipline as a country. Let's not just talk about police and misusing firearm. Let's also talk about the indiscipline.
No, we're getting there. Yeah. That's what I'm waiting for you to finish.
The societal indiscipline.
Let me hear from...
And then the second person that I would like you to listen to is Nyuta.
Is this a minister who regrets what he said but not sure how to say it?
Thank you, Sam, and good morning. I think I want to say that one thing that baffles my mind is what happens to people when they get to power, when they get power and money. And I say that because over the years, Murkomen has been able to prove that he's a very reasonable person, somebody who understands the law, and somebody who do not allow other people to think for him. But the Murkomen of today, after getting power, and of course money, and proximity to the president, seems to have, abdicated his role, seems to have forgotten what he stands for, seems to have forgotten everything. Because it's also embarrassing for somebody to say something today, and I'm referring to flip-flopping. Murkomen said in public, and it was all over for everybody to see, he ordered the police to shoot and kill anybody who approached a police station.
He didn't say kill.
And
let's be fair to him. He didn't say kill. He said shoot.
Shoot, yes. Of course, the police have not been shooting to immobilize recently. They have been shooting to kill. And he also referred to another power above him and said, these are not my instructions. These are instructions from above. And the above can only be one particular person, that is President Ruto. Because, you know, we are here discussing this matter this morning, Sam, because of the recent shootings by the police. And when Wakili Harvey tells you about Boniface Kariuki, who comes from my county, I mean, everybody saw what happened. This is somebody the police harassed. I mean, and he had actually even left. Then the police officer, I mean, I don't know what came to him. They shot him. We have not seen any police officer confronting a dangerous person, a looter, but very innocent Kenyans who are not armed. And so what I may want to say also some regarding to what the Honorable Russell has said. He has explained that, you know, the minister has no place in law to order police officers. And what Murkomen said to these police officers, well, he would just take it aside. Just another comment by maybe a politician. But do the police understand the intricacies in this particular law? Mm-hmm. Because maybe Charles will explain to us, but I hear that the police take orders first and question later. So are you, Honorable Russell, telling us that an ordinary police officer will know that this CS for Interior was saying it for the cameras and it was not an order? And in the first place, why then give that particular kind of order? Because again, you know, Sam, although you have not asked me about that, we must ask ourselves, especially relating to what happened last Wednesday. I mean, we are told that police stations were torched, that people stole guns, but we were not told of any response by the police officers who were there. I mean, we saw the DCC's offices in the Kikuyu here, you know, getting torched. There was no response by police officers. So, and I think maybe if we get time, and if you may want to ask Charles, because he is a former police officer and a police spokesman. I mean, whether he thinks that actually that was just an act of crime, or it was something pre-planned. You cannot attack a police station today, Sam.
You think it was pre-planned?
Of course.
By who?
By government. Who else? Because it seems...
Government planned to attack police station?
No, government planned goons to attack a police station and ordered. Of course, I'm not saying I have evidence, but of course you had one-to-one. How would, you know, people who are unarmed attack a police station? There is no response from the police officers in that particular station. You know, there is no response at all. Unless orders have been given to the police officers who man such a particular station not to respond and to go away. I mean, you cannot do that in a police station.
That is actually possible, Senator, you believe?
It is?
You believe it's actually possible for the government to organize goons?
Yes. Not exactly organize goons. Politicians can organize goons, but government can give orders to the police in such a particular police station not to respond to the attacks. And you know, Sam, you know, if you go out here, there are politicians ordering security organs. You know, telling them, OCPD, do this, and they do it. And we see these things.
Which politicians?
I mean, those that are aligned to government. Those that support government. Yes, I've seen them in my county, giving orders, calling for security meetings. Politicians. And they appear. These are things that are there.
You know, Sam.
I mean, they are not done officially, but they are there. You'll go to a gathering, and there is a pro-government politician. And when especially they do not want anybody who is anti-government to speak, then you will hear them telling OCPD, Nyanganya Mike, OCPD, that should not be said. Nobody should mention the president here.
And they do it?
And they do it, yes.
You know, Senator Nyuta is one of the people that has been against this government for a very long time. And sometimes listening to him speaking, more so listening to these people who have been against this government speaking. Okay, at one point, they are normally right. But on the other hand, I normally feel like these people are just the same. You see, these politicians, one thing I normally believe and know is that these politicians, they're just the same. Huwezi ukasema kwamba sasa kuna yule tu sasa mtu mzuri sana ambaye akija atafanya ile mambo mazuri ambayo watu wengine hawafanyi. These people are the same. The way they reason, the way they do things, it is only that they are angels before they get power. Then after getting power, after now having power in their hands, now they turn to be the devils that we feared most. The last person that I would like you to listen to is Nelson Harvey, the former LSK president. Listen to him speaking.
Wakili, help us here, because even as we have all these conversations, there are families that are hurting. Is there justice coming their way, given the circumstances we live in?
Well, justice insofar as police killings has always been elusive. Look at the case of Willie Kimani. It took almost 10 years for this prosecution to go through. There are many cases that are pending in court about police killings. Now, it's always difficult to successfully prosecute a policeman for murder unless there is public uproar and goodwill from the Director of Public Prosecution and the courts. You can see, insofar as Albert Ojwang is concerned, much as the public uproar has given momentum to this process, the main suspect, Eliud Lagat, remains at large and may never be apprehended and prosecuted. Why? Because the Director of Public Prosecution and those who wield authority do not want him processed through the due process. But when this is said and done, I want to speak to a category of people. Let me start with police officers. Yesterday, when I was about to board a plane, this young man, he looked young, but somehow a little bit withered, much older than I. Then he told me, "Unanikumbuka?" I said, "Sikukumbuki." Then he identified his family name. Actually, on reflection, I realized this gentleman was in class 1 when I was in class 8. But if we were to be put here, look, the point is this. These policemen and policewomen are part and parcel of us. They are our family. So listen to me, policemen and women. This is advice. Don't listen to Charles. Don't listen to the good MP Russell. Listen to me. I'm telling you what the law is. The right to life cannot be limited. A high court has determined this with finality. And that is the reason why even the death sentence is not being imposed on anybody found guilty of murder. Because the courts have said, up to the highest court, that the right to life cannot be limited. If somebody has threatened a police officer, the person is supposed to be apprehended and taken to court. If somebody has destroyed property, he has to be arrested and taken to court. If somebody has threatened the life of another person, he must be arrested and taken to court. That is fundamental. And you, as a police officer, the biggest disadvantage you have on the streets is the firearm. Charles will tell you here, he's a well-trained firearm holder. But I've never seen any incidents where he's been accused of misusing it. You know why? Because he knows the consequences. That time he had a confrontation with Boniface Mwangi. He maintained his cool. You as a police officer must always maintain your cool. Because the day you will be arrested and charged in court for killing somebody, you will be all by yourself. Let me speak to Kenyans. The life of everybody is important. The life of a policeman, the life of a civilian. And I can say without any fear of contradiction that a majority of the people who were in the streets last Wednesday were peaceful protesters. Tell me, what justification was there to use force on David Maraga and those victims of police brutality who he was with? He was with the mother of the deceased. He was with the father of some of them. Where is the justification? It is wrong. And then let us speak to people like Mchumba Morokomen, my colleagues in the legal profession. This is an embarrassment. Kipchumba Murkomen is a well-educated gentleman. He's knowledgeable. I think the only problem he lacks is intelligence. But his lack of intelligence should not be a problem to disturb us. It is incumbent upon professional bodies. For instance, the Law Society of Kenya ought by now to have taken action against Kipchumba Murkomen. And if anything is to go by, justification for taking that action is the statistics that have been given by Charles here. He's given us statistics of people who were shot in police stations. About 4 police stations is mentioned. A confirmation that indeed there are officers who are complying with the unlawful and constitutional order by Kipchumba Murkomen. Left to their own, police are always guarded and regulated. But when political appointees seek to use them, to control them in the manner in which Kipchumba Murkomen is doing, they get excited. And in the spur of the moment, they misuse the power that they have that are supposed to be limited. In fact, the firearm of the policeman is supposed to protect life, not to destroy life. So to the extent that a pronouncement comes from a cabinet secretary that you use that power to end life, there is a problem. If I was still at the helm of the leadership of the Law Society of Kenya, this guy will have faced a motion for removal from office and disbarment.
I thought you could petition if you will.
I'm a retired general. I don't carry a rifle anymore. Let youngsters. I can only carry a small firearm.
Okay.
Excuse me. I tend.
What do you make of these sentiments? Are Kenyans overreacting?
If you were to listen to the 3 police officers who have answered Kipchumba Murkomen, then you'll get your answer. They have said, we will not obey your unlawful and unconstitutional command to shoot, to kill innocent Kenyans. So that on the basis of that, it is easy to discern the flaw in the directive by Kipchumba Murkomen. There is nobody who doubts the legality of the use of firearms by police officers. But the context in which this pronouncement by Murkomen are being justified is what has to be interrogated. First and foremost, the High Court has determined in Katiba Institute versus the Attorney General 397 of 2017 that the right to life, the right to a fair hearing is superior to the right of a police officer to use a firearm for the protection of life, for the defense of his life, and for the defense of the life of another person. Well, that takes us back to the use of reasonable force. Mm-hmm. And every policeman and policewoman understands the moment you misuse your firearm, you are on your own. You will be charged with murder or manslaughter, and it will be upon yourself to demonstrate that you used reasonable force in the circumstances. And often, you will be found guilty. Because if you're shooting at Boniface Kariuki, who only has a mask, how can you justify the use of brute force on him? You understand? Look at all the cases that were reported last week. I never saw a single incidence of a policeman confronting anybody looting a shop. But I saw so many incidences of policemen shooting innocent protesters. What is the name of this gentleman? Calligraph Jones. Mm-hmm. What was the underlying reason why they had to whip him? He was just walking innocently, and you could see these policemen were intent on provoking him so that a scaffold would ensue and shoot him. But with that said and done, police officers must realize that an unlawful command from anybody, the president, the cabinet secretary, the PS, the police spokesman, cannot be obeyed.
And Chairman, sorry, Mheshimiwa Russell, you sit in the committee that oversees the security sector.
Yes.
So guys, before I give you a chance at the comment section, I would like to ask this question: that can't we have other people who can be hosted on this social, in these mainstream medias, to talk about, you know, whenever these people goes on mainstream medias, they talk about themselves. That is what is happening. These guys normally talk about themselves. They don't talk about us. They don't talk about people. They talk about themselves. And that is where the problem comes from. You find that they really talk about themselves. Like, oh, this one. So sometimes you ask yourself that, what is it? Why is it that we can't just have enough time to talk about what Kenyans are going through, what Kenyans are facing? We must talk about us. Why always us? Why is it that it's always us? Why can't it be them? That is the question. Why can't we talk about them? We must talk about us. Why must we talk about us every now and then? Mara, us this, us that. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. Let me know what you think at the comment section, by the way. And please don't forget to drop me a comment at the comment section and tell me what you think and where you're watching this video from. Until we meet again, I have been your host, Boniface Owino. Big.